Hey guys, today we have Ajinkya and he's having total 3.5 year of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices domain. And those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started. Hey, hello Ajinkya, how are you?
Hey, hi Fazan. I'm good.
Okay, shall we start?
Yep, yeah,
Okay, can you please introduce yourself and your recent project in brief, Ajinkya?
sure. So, hi, this is Ajinkya here. I'm having total of 3.5 years of experience in IT domain.
Hmm.
Basically, I have worked on Java backend developer in my past 3 years. Uh, so I have current my project is in logistics and retail domain.
Mm-hmm.
So one of biggest European logistics domain client is one of for which I'm working on. So
Mm-hmm.
I have been working on their compliance project recently. So compliance as in, so they are having massive ships, as we call vessels.
Mm-hmm.
So each every vessel has to go from past countries to countries. So in order to manage that, there should be a compliance body, because today we are having warless situation, so we cannot enter
Mm.
those type of countries directly or indirectly.
So
Yeah.
what's your day-to-day work as a developer?
So currently we just moved to production. So day to day, my work was to agile methodology we used. So we were
Mm-hmm.
having sets of tasks. So what we are going to do today, what we are achieving at the end of sprint to
Okay.
demo that. So based on that, I'm having a day to day task listed so that we can create that application what is expected in a release manner, step by step.
Step by step. So how your sprint is structured?
Sorry, what? Now?
How your sprint is structured?
So my sprint is having 14 days, 2 weeks of sprint. So
Okay.
we are having total, I guess, so five, six
So is
developers.
testing included in this 2 week?
No, it is not. We are
It is
having
not.
unit testing, it is included, but the
Mm-hmm.
actual end-to-end testing, or rather than tested testing should be done at the
Mm-hmm.
end of one release. So we are
Okay.
planning on
So
that.
what kind of testing you guys are doing in this project?
So as a developer testing, we are doing the unit testing
Unit
using
testing.
JUnit and Mockito. And
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the tester level testing, they are doing one is regression testing, that is performance level.
Okay.
So let's say today I am having, let's say, X number of hits
Mm-hmm.
in that API, but tomorrow if it goes to lakhs of and thousands of days, so what will
Mm-hmm.
happen? So what type of pods we need, what number of pods instances, and all those things.
Okay. So are you guys using thread concept anywhere in your project?
In this project I haven't, because there is not much of the significant load on that API,
Mm-hmm.
but in my earlier projects I have did. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So do you, I mean, you have experience on threads, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So can you explain the different states in thread lifecycle?
um One is run, I guess so, that is in
Mm-hmm.
running state. One
Mm-hmm.
is having wait state. Waiting state
Mm-hmm.
is to, if another thread is in progress or acting on that same space,
Mm-hmm.
so then this thread is in waiting state.
Okay.
And then there would be another state of sleep, I guess so. I guess wait and sleep are the same, I'm not sure on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
telling it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's fine. Yes, you are partially correct. So there are few states like new, runnable, running, waiting, timed waiting, block, terminated. But majorly they are running, waiting, and terminated.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So can you tell me the difference between runnable and callable?
So runnable is an interface, callable is a class.
Okay.
Uh, so we are implementing runnable interface to create a new thread.
Uh-huh.
We are using that to create a new thread based on whatever configuration we need. So
Okay.
we would provide certain
So
like
when would you use one over the other?
um, I'm not recalling that.
Okay, okay. Okay, so we should use runnable for fire and forget tasks, right? And we should use callable when we need a result, direct result. Because callable return a result via future, right?
Correct. Yes.
But runnable returns no result and
Correct.
also cannot throw checked exceptions. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Ajinkya, suppose two threads are updating a shared counter, right? How would you ensure thread safety without using synchronized?
So if they are updating a shared counter, as in we are updating a value from existing to a new value. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So in this case, I would use an atomic integer, because
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we are doing a plus plus operator here. So plus plus operator consists of three steps: getting the actual
Mm-hmm.
value, adding the value, and getting the finalized value. So these three steps involved, if multiple threads are coming in the same space and they are
Mm-hmm.
getting the value and they're updating the value, so it could happen that we are having an additional value updated in that rather than having a count plus one. So we would
Mm-hmm.
use atomic integer, which was guaranteed only one thread would be like changing the value for that, and after
Mm-hmm.
its process is done, then next thread would come in.
Okay. Yeah, that's correct. We should use atomic integer in this case. Okay. Hey guys, I want to share something important with you. Actually, Ajinkya prepared from our interview preparation kit and cracked multiple interviews. We have also referred him to multiple companies. So let me tell you, this interview preparation kit has four main parts. The first is complete interview preparation material. It is a step-by-step material made by me, expert and MNC's interviewers. 99% of the questions asked in interviews are covered in it. Second is true real enterprise client projects. Here code and video recorded sessions are there in this part, and you can also add this in your resume. Third is lifetime chat supports. Here you can ask your doubts anytime. Fourth is referral support. Here we help you get referred to the top MNCs. So basically the material is organized as per your experience level and covers Java, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data, JPA, Kafka, Microservices, Maven, Git, coding question, Stream API coding questions, and many more. You can buy just the complete interview preparation material or the full kit with the project support and referrals. I have added the links in the description below. So now moving to our interview. And guys, before moving to our interview, I would like to know the feedback of our interview preparation kit by Ajinkya. So can you please share your true feedback?
Yeah, so that is a detailed level of interview preparation kit.
Mm-hmm.
There are multiple things clubbed into a single kit. It has helped me grow my technical expertise. Whatever
Okay.
interview preparation questions are frequently asked and would
Mm-hmm.
be asked are mentioned in this preparation kit. So yeah, it has helped me a lot.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Ajinkya. So now moving to our interview. So can you tell me how does volatile ensure visibility?
So first of all, what visibility is that we need to understand, like if a thread has changed a value, so
Mm-hmm.
is it visible to the updated value? Is it visible to the current move, like a second thread which is in motion?
Mm-hmm.
Is it in the running state? So it is visible to that. So in a normal manner, it will not. So it will be having only the old value visible to the second thread as well. But
Mm-hmm.
in order to update that into the memory model, we should have the volatile keyword introduced there, which will, when the thread has updated that value, so it will directly update the memory model, which will
Mm-hmm.
tell the next thread that yeah, this is the newer value what you want. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So tell me how do atomic classes like atomic integer, right, differ from synchronized blocks in terms of performance and usage?
mm, I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. So basically, atomic classes use lock-free operations, generally faster under low contention. Okay,
Okay.
synchronized block use intrinsic locks and can cause blocking and context switching. So the different is they are using different locks.
Okay.
Okay, so can a thread acquire multiple locks?
Yes, it can.
Okay, so what if the order of acquiring lock is inconsistent across thread?
So that will surely happen because a thread can be ahead of the other thread. So inconsistencies
Mm-hmm.
of log will happen surely. So in
Okay.
order to rectify that, I would say we would be introducing um, so we can introduce like which thread has changed what log. So based on that, we
Mm-hmm.
can order the logs on that in the logging software such as Kibana or those. So we can
Mm-hmm.
explicitly see which thread has made what changes in that space. So in that way, we could achieve that
Mm.
consistency in logs.
Okay. 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 So let's say you have a scenario where threads are waiting forever. How would you detect and resolve deadlocks here?
If it is waiting forever,
Mm-hmm.
there would be no further logs until the last log what is printed for that thread.
Mm-hmm.
I guess so. So that would tell the scenario that this thread is waiting or has not terminated and is still in waiting state.
Mm-hmm.
So to mm,
Okay. So can we use try lock or lock altering here?
I've not used those concepts.
Okay, okay. Yeah, it's fine. And also we have several tools available like JConsole, J Visual VM. We can detect deadlock by using these tools.
Okay.
Okay, moving ahead, tell me the difference between wait method, notify, and notify all.
So notify method is to notify the next thread that the current thread has completed its
Mm-hmm.
execution. So the next thread can come in and perform its operation. And notify all is
Okay.
to update the thread pool that this thread has completed its operation, and the other
Mm-hmm.
threads can come in and do the execution.
Okay. Okay. So, do you know about thread pool executor?
No.
No. Okay, so we can create our custom thread by using thread pool executor. So it's fine. Okay, so moving ahead, do you know about submit method and execute method?
No, submit
No,
exit
no.
used.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, just tell me the role of synchronize keyword in Java.
So synchronize keyword enables us to make it thread safe. So
Uh-huh.
whatever value or synchronous block if we use. So whatever
Mm-hmm.
piece of code is based in that block, or if that synchronous keyword is used for a variable, so that
Mm-hmm.
is made thread safe. So whatever, so same as volatile keyword. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever values are updated in that, so it will surely make it sure that it is updated to memory model. So the next thread will see the updated value for that.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so do you know about JMM Java memory model?
Yeah, a bit.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Just tell me the overview of JMM and how it affects multi-threading.
So Java memory model is so it has mainly like three features that is guaranteed: visibility, atomicity, and the last is runnable. I'm not sure the last name.
Mm-hmm.
So what it does is that it affects the thread in a way that whenever multi-threading concept is there, so it is having multiple challenges as visibility, one important challenge, atomicity, another important challenge, that we cannot see the updated value. So next thread should not come in between and alter what is the
Sorry.
expected output from that. So this is what Java memory model is affecting multi-threading. But there are workarounds in newer Java versions which we
Mm-hmm.
can overcome these challenges.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's correct. So moving ahead, tell me why do we need design patterns? Like, what's the role of design patterns in our development?
So design patterns tells us how to do the development in a globally accepted. First, everyone knows what
Mm-hmm.
design pattern is. So if a next developer comes in, they should understand what has been done here. So second
Mm-hmm.
thing would be achieving the greatest performance. What is the Spring is designed for? So
Mm-hmm.
having no performance issues or lesser performance issues, we can achieve
Mm-hmm.
those using design patterns. And thirdly would be clean and simple development, which should
Mm-hmm.
not impact the newer introduction of code. Let's say we want something new functionality comes in, so it should have been a
Mm-hmm.
straightforward go in, but without changing any existing code or having no issues in that. So that teaches development, sorry, design patterns.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So tell me what is singleton pattern? I mean, there are
Singleton
multiple
pattern.
design patterns. Let's talk about first singleton pattern.
Yep, sure. So singleton pattern is the most basic and important pattern. So
Mm-hmm.
what singleton tells is that a class should have only one instance created in the Java memory and should not have
Mm-hmm.
multiple instances across its execution. So
Okay.
the simplest example is auto-add. So internally, Java beans are singleton in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every time, whenever we are telling explicitly that it should have a prototype model and not a singleton model, then and then it will create the new bin or new object for that, a new instance of that. So that is
Okay.
singleton.
Okay. So as we know, there are multiple implementation of singleton pattern, right? So can we write a thread safe implementation?
Yeah, I have read about that. I never used
Uh-huh.
one, but yeah. So we have, so internally, every singleton model is not thread safe. We have to
Mm-hmm.
explicitly make it thread safe by introducing a synchronized block, I assume.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
synchronized block.
So using
Okay.
that, we are making that instance thread safe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so in singleton, What problems can occur with serialization and reflection?
So serialization and reflection, whenever we are trying to deserialize a value into a singleton object, so
Mm-hmm.
serialization, deserialization has their own set of instance apart from what Spring allocates. So in that
Mm-hmm.
case, a new Java instance is created for that same object. So this breaks
Mm-hmm.
the concept of singleton here. So in order to
Mm-hmm.
achieve that, we have to implement when we are trying when we are implementing singleton model for object, we have to make sure that only one instance of that object is created at the time of deceleration serialization as well. So if
Mm-hmm.
that we don't take care of that, so there might be chances of data corruption,
Can
the
create a new
deceleration will not
instance.
be less. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And also we should implement a read resolve method.
correct. Yes,
Yeah,
we have.
yeah. Okay. And also in reflection, it can break singleton. Uh, okay. Okay, so tell me the difference between factory method and abstract factory method patterns.
So factory method, and I'm not sure on the second, but factory method, what it does is that it is giving the existing functionality or existing type of writing method. So what it will give is that whenever we are having what is said, what do we say? Uh, what type of implementation we are given, so same has to
Mm-hmm.
be followed by implementing the same way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to make sense here. So whatever factory method implementations are given for that class
Mm-hmm.
or object, so same should have been implemented while we are doing its execution. So in that
Mm-hmm.
same way, we should not alter that, I guess so.
Okay, okay. Okay, so do you know about strategy pattern?
Strategy, I'm not aware.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. Observer pattern, like what all patterns
So
you
builder
know?
pattern I have used multiple times.
Which one?
Builder pattern.
Builder pattern. Okay,
Yes.
so give a real world example of builder pattern and how does it improve our telescoping constructors?
Correct. So builder pattern gives us an advantage of we would have the enriched object, or rather than all the instances, or sorry, all the variables that are in that
Mm-hmm.
object are having the values updated when that object is created. So this gives an advantage of we don't have to call the constructor or get a set of methods explicitly. Whenever an
Mm-hmm.
object is created, we are having its enriched version whenever that object is created. So this gives an advantage
Mm-hmm.
using the builder concept of a class. So that is builder pattern.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so uh, tell me how do you write a unit test using JUnit 5 in Spring Boot?
So the important thing first would be identifying for which class we are writing the JUnit. So let's suppose take
Mm-hmm.
an example of a class we are writing JUnit. So first would be to mocking what all other different beans we are using in that same class. So
Mm-hmm.
that mocking nature would give us then a replica version of that bean, which would
Mm-hmm.
act as that is still in execution, but it will not happening in the real time. So
Mm-hmm.
not an actual way. It will be a like a version where it will only execute the steps based on what
Mm-hmm.
we tell it to do. And then important thing would be to injecting mob for which class we are actually doing that writing the JUnit for. So that would be having an inject mock annotation, and then
Mm-hmm.
below we'll be having different steps to involve what all operations are done. So
Mm-hmm.
suppose an operation goes from a controller layer to a service layer. So we are not interested in the service layer's JUnit here. So we'll be mocking that using when
Mm-hmm.
command, when methods, and expect that result what we are trying to achieve from that service layer. So we'll be mocking that, and we'll be telling that whenever this operation comes in, we want this output. And if we
Mm-hmm.
receive the same output from when the execution happens, so we are good with the JUnit test. So by checking that, we use assert equals or not equals, or whatever scenario we are trying to achieve here. So assertion we use.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so tell me the difference between test annotation at the test in JUnit 4 and JUnit 5.
Mm, I'm
Okay,
not
so
sure.
which JUnit version you guys
Five,
are using?
five.
5.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, there are few, I mean, very minor difference. Like in JUnit 4, test annotation expect exception class while we use asset throws in JUnit 5, something like that.
Okay.
Okay. So, I mean, do you have experience on MVC, Spring Boot, sorry, Spring MVC?
Very little, because from
Very
start
little.
I have been using boot itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, have you used data JPA test annotation?
Yes. Yeah. Data
Where?
JPA. Yes. So data JPA test annotation. So we would so MVC model. So we can create the data JPA in JUnit. So there is a data JPA test here. So which would replicate the functionality of Spring Data
Mm-hmm.
JPA annotation. So it will create the same manner of whatever Spring Data JPA. So that is an um, like a menu book for a hotel. Let's say an analogy here. So whenever
Mm-hmm.
we want something to be done, so it goes to Hibernate and then it creates a query. That's what JPA is. So it acts as the same here by mocking that behavior into a
Mm-hmm.
test class.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you know about test containers?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's a part of DevOps. I think since you are a developer, it's a part of DevOps. Test containers run real services in Docker for tests.
Okay.
Okay. Mm, okay. So moving ahead, how do you mock external APIs?
I did use it somewhere, I recall. So we could do that by what is expected value. So we won't.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to call that API in actual manner, we could do
Mm-hmm.
that using mock MVC. But if we don't want to call that API, we would tell that whenever, like what I gave an example of service class, when we are when we are doing the JUnit for a controller level class. So when we want that same output to be here, so we would use when command,
Mm-hmm.
when method, and in that method we would place that piece of code where this calls the external API using a REST template. So it would be that using a REST template. So we would be mocking that, and we would be giving an expected result what we want here from that external API.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and also we could use a wire mock web server, right? Mockito web
Yes.
client mock
Yes.
so to
So in
simulate
order to
external
actually
API.
call that external API, yes, we could
Mm,
do that.
okay. Okay, so tell me, while designing and creating independent microservices, what principles should be followed?
Designing or micro, can you repeat once?
While designing and creating microservices, independent microservices, what principles should be followed?
So there would be certain principles that I think and should be followed are, first would be having each and every microservice should have a functionality defined which would be only worked on that. So it should not have a multiple functionalities clubbed into one service. So that will again
Mm-hmm.
trigger monolithic itself. So if we are
Mm-hmm.
splitting the microservices in beta, like different functionalities, each microservice should having only one job or one functionality should it should
Mm-hmm.
perform here. Next would be each and every microservice should have their own set of database, so that we don't have
Database
to.
per service.
Yes, so we don't have to struggle with same database and same row they're affecting.
Mm-hmm.
So that challenge is overcomes here.
Mm-hmm.
Next would be having communication between those APIs. Sorry, between those microservices should be like it should not have any issues. What do we say? So it should communicate with each microservice based on certain listeners and producers. So, for example, we
Mm-hmm.
could be using queues here for that matter, or Kafka we could
Mm-hmm.
be using here.
Mm-hmm.
Um then there would be the each and every service should, if they're having certain APIs, so they should be registering to a central registry. Example
Mm-hmm.
console here, if we take an example,
Mm-hmm.
it should be having a registry so that all the APIs are placed into a single place, and the user should not go to each and every API to check its implementation or its
Mm-hmm.
URL like that.
Okay, yeah, that's you are correct, and I'm adding some more like there should single responsibility for each microservice, loose coupling, right,
Correct. Yes.
and independent deployment for each microservice.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, tell me the difference between REST template, web client, and Fin client for inter-service communication.
Mm, so
These
REST.
are the way of communication, right?
Yeah, calling an external APIs or
Mm-hmm.
like calling the different microservices APIs. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So what REST template tells is, so we could use REST template to call the external API. We would
Mm-hmm.
be giving the external URL and the request, and we would be getting a response. But it's straightforward what we do, like whenever we are calling an API. So
Mm-hmm.
Fin client would be a little different what it gives in Spring Boot. So we would be creating a, at that Fin client we would having an annotation placed over an method.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so play store and method. So that fin client would be achieving, so it will be creating a client in our service for that API. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever we want to call that API, it would go over through the fin client. It will call that API and give us the response. And I'm not aware of
Mm.
the third one.
Web client.
Yeah, I'm never used that.
Okay. Yeah, it's also one of the way of communicating between REST APIs. It's a reactive and non-blocking.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if one microservice is down out of multiple microservices, how will you handle the failure?
So first would be we would be implementing, whenever we are having a request coming in, let's say from a queue. So we would be
Mm-hmm.
having the messages in that queue to have a TTL, that is time to live. So that we
Mm-hmm.
won't be having a pile up of messages. So that will crash the broker URL or the queue which we're using. So that would be
Mm-hmm.
one, to have a TTL implemented for each and every queue messages. Second, we would
Mm-hmm.
be using a circuit breaker. So telling the whichever service is sending that any response to the next microservice which is broken, so it will telling that microservice that, yeah, hey, I'm not available as of this moment and we are not accepting any messages. So we could
Mm-hmm.
redirect that, or we could keep that on hold, something like that. We could be implementing to circuit break that, so which will not pile up the queues here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so can you explain the retry and fallback mechanism in Resilience 4J with a real world example?
I'm not aware of this detailed, but I
Okay.
have used a retry, or rather, I have seen how the retry works. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever a message fails, so it
Mm-hmm.
fails as in if there is an error that has exception that has occurred, and we have placed that in a retry queue. What I've
Mm-hmm.
implemented. So that retry queue is having a scheduled job, rather a batch job. So it will trigger that same. Let's say we provide a frequency of 30 minutes or 1 hour or whatever it may be. So after that scheduled time, it will retry that job and hit that same message payload to the
Mm-hmm.
executor, like wherever that service which is which it has broken there. So wherever
Mm-hmm.
that exception occurred. So in order to retry that mechanism, and we could give the number of retries. So let's say 2 or 3 times we want to do that, and after that we would discard that message like that. So in that manner, this retry replay framework was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Explain about Eureka service discovery little bit.
So Eureka console. So those are our
Uh,
API registries. So every microservice should register their APIs whenever they are loaded or deployed with the
mm-hmm.
registered service. So that will act as a gateway service. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever an API is hit, it will decide which APIs. So which whatever API that has been hit. So it is placed in which microservice, and it will be targeting that message towards that service. So this will be act as a load balancer as well, and as well as deciding service. So whatever API comes in, so this should be directed towards that service. So that though we are having console, Eureka, these type of
Mm-hmm.
services wherever we can use
Mm-hmm.
this API registry.
Okay. Okay. So, how does an API gateway help in microservice architecture?
Okay, so let's suppose that we are having a API and we are having multiple microservices for that, and when we are using the API gateway, so
Mm-hmm.
it will help us to, so a user or a whoever is calling that API, they don't have to get the URL of each and every microservice, because
Mm-hmm.
whenever microservice deployed, they're having their own sets of unique URL that has been deployed. So we don't have to worry about that. So
Mm-hmm.
they just have to hit the URL using the gateway API. So that as a masking, it acts as a masking there. So that acts as a filter. So whenever we hit an API, it will
Mm-hmm.
trigger, or it will only hit the API wherever that API is actually implemented in a microservice. So it will identify that, and it will trigger that API like that, in that way.
Okay. 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 How would you secure communication between microservices exposed via an API gateway?
So we could use authorization and authentication first. Whenever
Mm-hmm.
an API, whenever anyone is calling our API, so we would be having authentication that whether they are the right person to call that, on authorization if they have valid permissions to
Mm-hmm.
call that API. We would even introduce a method label as well. So if they are even
Mm-hmm.
authorized person to call that method or that API, so we'd be having pre-authorized concept there, which we're having introduced roles and permissions here.
Okay. Okay. Tell me the role of Spring Cloud config server.
Not aware.
Okay. Like it stores config in Git repo, provides them into the services at runtime, ensure consistency and easy updates, right?
Yes.
And also, imagine you change a configuration in config server. How do client service pick up the changes without restarting? So for this, there is a Spring Cloud bus. Have you heard about a Spring Cloud bus?
No.
Yeah, with an endpoint refresh, it pushes config updates dynamically and automatically.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So, can you please share your screen? I will share one or two coding question. You
Sure.
have to do those through Stream API. Okay. Let's say you are given an array, right?
Okay.
And you have to print the sum of even numbers.
Sum of even numbers.
Even numbers, yes.
So if you're having an array, one, two, three,
Array or
four.
array list, you can take anyone.
Okay, we could directly go with array list then. Excuse the slide.
As list, I think.
Oh, let's take one, two, three, four, five, and six as well.
Mhm. So it should print 2, 4, 6 means 12.
So that output should have been 12 here. So two,
Yes,
four,
yes,
six.
yes.
Yeah. So we would do array dot stream. Let's take the output in an integer sum. Let's say. Okay. So arrays dot stream dot just a second. Okay. Just sorry. So arrays dot stream. Then we would take the filter method here in order to first sort out what
Mm-hmm.
all elements are in even number. So even number identification we would do mod divided by 2. So whichever are divisible by 2 are the even numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So we would tell let's say n arrow operator n mod 2 will give us is equals to 0. So if
Mm-hmm.
that is true, in that case we would be having the even numbers picked up here. So we would use then dot we can use map here as well, and we could have one more method, count. I don't know, not count. Some we would have, but we would use directly use map. So map that will be giving us the filtered array. So that
Mm-hmm.
filtered array, then we are be going to do the summation operation. So we would do so map, then summation operation n, then n plus no sorry, n comma. So it
So
takes two
can
elements
you
of.
use reduce method?
So yeah, reduce also we could use, right? So a comma b, which should be having a plus b. So it takes two arguments here,
Mm-hmm.
and then we would be having those. We don't need collect because we don't want it as a string. Sorry, list here.
Mm-hmm.
This should, I guess, work. I'm not sure. Okay. Mm,
Put inside bracket AV.
sorry. Cannot be
Make
con-
optional integer or
Oh, yeah.
uh,
It will give an optional way. So we could have there one more method. Not getting the name. So whenever we are having an optional that is expected out of that, so we would take like tell that if there is a null, it would straight away return zero, so that we
hmm
won't have to handle it optionally. But yeah, we would do that optional. So
yeah. Okay, so it's fine. Now you can unshare your screen, Ajinkya. So it's done from my end.